there's value in a couple of interesting companies that our value stock strategist, Tracey Ryniec, wants you to know more about. So she stopped on by to tell us about them. One is an outsourcing company, matter of fact, Sykes Enterprises.
Yeah, I don't think I've covered them before.
I don't recall it.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting area because they do some outsourcing, but they do also like the big call centers. So not everything is outside the country. They have about 30% in the Americas of their business. They're interesting because they're a small cap company, but they have 40,000 employees because they're operating all these, customer service management is what it is.
Okay.
So it can be assorted different kinds of things, but a lot of it has to do with like call centers. Things are interesting in that area. They have been subject to whatever's going on in the global economy, obviously. They are taking a cautious view about the outlook for the rest of the year based on what they saw the first quarter.
Okay.
But they did see some improvement and stronger demand in their Eastern, the Middle East, Europe, Africa segment. So they're starting to see some improvement. They like what they see. They raised guidance. Analysts, have been pushing up the estimate here, but this year they're still expected to not see any earnings growth. It's like a decline of about 2%, but by 2014 is when the analysts think things will really start to turn around as the global economy picks up steam and the strategies that they put in place start really like formulating on themselves. So you're still not going to see the greatest earnings growth this year, but we're not here for the earnings growth, we're here for the value.
That's right.
And they're trading around 12 times, so they're not super expensive here. That is under the average of the S&P 500. And the interesting thing that I really liked about this company was that the shares are not at the 52-week high or even multi-year high, no highs, but they've been underperforming the S&P 500, so that's somewhat unusual, which is also makes it, that's the value, that's the unseen company, the one that nobody's really paying attention to. So, things look pretty good for them. Otherwise, if you're willing to stick it out a little bit longer than just, maybe the next quarter.
Okay. Then there's this technology company, OmniVision Technologies. Now, they make parts that are in a lot of products.
Yeah, they're the semiconductors, but it's like imaging semiconductors, and it's in, digital cameras, your phone, automobiles, anything with imaging with that, medical imaging. So it's
pretty diverse.
Yeah, it is diverse, and they had an interesting quarter where they just reported because they had a bigger business in the Chinese handset market than was anticipated. But how long that's going to last, given the kind of slowdown that's going on in China, remains to be seen. Some of the analysts with them have been concerned about gross margins. It hasn't been the greatest. They've been trailing their peers, but they seem to have gotten that under control. And the analysts are more positive going forward here. They did have a huge beat for this last quarter, 88%, and the analysts expect about 60% earnings growth this year. So that's pretty hot. They like certain areas that you wouldn't necessarily think of, like the auto industry, because as I've said many times in these videos, the auto industry is really hot right now, and they make components for that. So they're starting to see that. It was really depressed market, and they're starting to see that pick up. So when you get some of these areas outside of what you would normally think, like the phones and things, picking up, that's a good sign. But shares popped off that great earnings report. They didn't do much before then. So maybe, people getting a little bit excited about what could be going on for the rest of this fiscal year. But, it's pulled back a little bit. It's trading around 14, 15 times, just under the 15 mark. That's not super pricey especially for a tech company. But yeah, this is kind of an interesting little niche area in the tech space that people might want to consider.
All righty. Do you own either one?
I do not.
Okay. Consider some other stock picks and stock picking strategies that we've put up on Zacks.com, our website, if you're not there already watching this video. And check back frequently because those stock picks and strategies change frequently, almost daily as a matter of fact. So check back often. With Tracey, I'm Terry Ruffalo.